You know what? Forgive the hat. There's a reason why I have it on, but don't need to go into that now. I'm looking for my copy of the Peshitta, and I always have it around me. I always carry it around with me. It's like one of the NASBs in the New American Bible. It's something that I always have with me. And if you're the type of person like me, then you're always setting anything that you always have with you, you're always setting it down somewhere, and you wind up losing it for a few hours. Now, Wikipedia is not a reliable source, right? It's not. It is, but it isn't. I'm trying to find a quote from Origen, a Clement of Alexandria, and it's one of those kind of things, one of the famous ones. I will actually go to Wikipedia to find where it is, and then I'll find it in the book, because it's much easier to locate than instead of scrolling through pages and pages of documents, you know. Or sometimes I'll just read it straight out of there after finding it and deciding which is the better wording, because a lot of times Wikipedia uses a wording that's I don't want to say more familiar, but more gets the point across clearer. If there's something esoteric in there or something strange, they'll emphasize that. If instead of it, well, I digress. So this is part 2, and I wanted to go over this. One thing Wikipedia did do well, and this is why I wanted to find the Peshitta, is it marked the books that Martin Luther actually, initially his first copy of his first German Bible, he did take out the Book of James. He did. Now, the next few versions that he made, he put with 2 Peter, 2nd and 3rd John, Jude, and the Apocalypse of John. It says Revelation. Sorry, I'm going to call it the Apocalypse of John till the day I die. He put those in the back. Those are Antilegomena, which is how I structured my video. And I had this just to scroll. I was trying to just scroll through, just copy paste. That didn't work, so I just typed it out in the just as it was, and hit, it was there. See how to correct it. And there's really nothing new in here that I would have added. I don't think I needed to put the acts of Paul and Thecla under condemned, did I? No. I could have put that in Antilegomena, but let me go through this again because it'll clear things up a lot better for you. You can look at the description box of. It's titled Yusuf's Canon, a 4-part canon compiled by Yusuf, surrounded by useful writings. And I did it this way, and this isn't in any order that it should have been read. Remember, I'm not going to do this. This is it. If I were King, Byzantine Emperor, Bishop of Alexandria, Antioch, and Rome all at the same time. About, I don't know, 1800 years ago. So it's a 4-part canon of Yusuf, surrounded by useful writings, Antilegomena canon of scripture. And there would be the 4 canons. I don't agree with the closed canon, first canon. And again, I would say you should start reading with the New Testament and then go to the Old. Unless you're coming out of something like Judaism, you know. Jews make awesome converts. Hindus, I don't want to say converts. Jews are awesome at coming to the Orthodox Church and embracing Orthodoxy and being Orthodox. Hindus are awesome at that. Buddhists are awesome at that. A certain particular Muslim is awesome at that. Atheists, cranky, all hot and bothered traditionalist Roman Catholics who still hold on to Augustine and think that the church is only about social justice and will condemn a 500 million people as homophobic. They do not make good Orthodox. Nathan Monk is who I'm talking about. Canon 1, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Judges. No Joshua, but some transitional parts. No, and I forgot to put the other one there. No what? Well, I won't bore you with that. Let's come back to the Antilegomena history. This would be history, so I didn't put an asterisk next to it, but this is the history. Ruth to 4th Kings. In the West, sometimes it's broken up as 1st, 2nd Samuel, and then 1st and 2nd Kings. It used to be 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th Kings. Condemned or unread or banned or whatever you want to call it. Esther, absolutely. 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, and Nehemiah. C2.1 Isaiah, Jeremiah, the Qumran version of Jeremiah, Baruch with an asterisk by it, careful, Ezekiel, and Daniel with an asterisk by it. C2, now these are the minor prophets, would be Amos, Jonah with an asterisk by it, Obadiah, and Joel. The reason why Jonah has an asterisk by it is people misunderstand Jonah. I'll do another video on Jonah. Banned all other minor prophets. Antilegomena would be Hosea, and then it says possibly in brackets next to it. Possibly Hosea. 3. So now we're at the wisdom books. Sirach, Judith, Tobit, Manasseh, also known as the 151st Psalm. Job with an asterisk. It's one of the greatest misunderstood books of all time. Psalms 73, 88, 103, 104, 23, and 100. Antilegomena would be Ecclesiastes and Song of Songs. Condemned would be Most Proverbs, Most Songs, and Lamentations. C4, and this is pre. I put pre there because you'll understand why once you hear the first 2 books, then you'll understand. It's a C4 pre. First Maccabees, and then Wisdom. Then the Gospel of Mark, the Gospel of John, the Gospel of Luke, the Acts of the Apostles, some Pauline epistles, James, 1 John, the Didache, Ignatius of Antioch. Stop. And then between C4 and Antilegomena is the Apocalypse of John of Patmos. I couldn't put it in either one. It's kind of like the Moratorian fragment. For Antilegomena-Barnabas, Protoevangelium of James, or just I just wrote Protoevangelium. Gospel of Matthew, Jude, 1st and 2nd Peter. Wrong thing. Hebrews, Shepard, Hermas, possibly 1st Clement. Also, possibly 2nd, 3rd John, possibly Philemon. Do I have anything banned stuff from the New Testament? Well, I want to say the Acts of Paul and Thecla, but I would have to put that under Antilegomena with a big asterisk, and Paul's 3rd letter to the Corinthians, I'd have to put a big asterisk around that, also in Antilegomena. But wisdom, 1st Maccabee, and I keep going back and forth, should be 1st Maccabees or 1st, 2nd, 3rd Maccabees. But wisdom should definitely be in with the Christian scriptures, and so should the Didache. But Ignatius of Antioch, a good deal. Barnabas, the Didache. 1st Clement, good enough. Now again, the Shepard Hermas, I should have put an asterisk next to that, because again, people can get screwy on that. In fact, I wouldn't pull a Martin Luther and group, all the stuff that I don't, that I think is Antilegomena at the end. I actually put Barnabas almost smack dab in the middle of Paul, so people get what it means. And I would put Clement in between, 1st Clement in between Peter and Jude. And Matthew would be Antilegomena with hard asterisks and neon lights flashing around it. And you guys know I dislike Matthew. I will go into that. Laodiceans, we don't need it. It still does exist, but I personally believe it's just other works of Paul just patched together. Could be authentic. I'd say Paul's 3rd letter to the Corinthians is more authentic. But if somebody accepts Paul's 3rd letter to the Corinthians and Laodiceans, which actually the West had Laodiceans for a long time, and Paul's 3rd letter to the Corinthians is still in the Armenian Codex, it doesn't change the faith. Not at all. In fact, if you took out what Martin Luther wanted to take out, things like Hebrews, James is good. Shouldn't take that out. 3rd John, Jude, and I almost said Revelation, and the Apocalypse of John. You're not going to get anything changed. But apparently, according to Wikipedia, which I don't know how sure I am of these people who created this thing, it believes that the Assyrian Church of the East, has, okay, where did you guys go, Assyrian Church of the East? Oh no, sorry, Sirach Christian traditions say that the Peshitta excludes 2nd, 3rd John, 2nd Peter, Jude, and the Apocalypse of John. But certain Bibles of modern Syriac traditions include these later translations, of whose books still today are official lectionary followed by the Syriac Orthodox Church and the Assyrian Church of the East. Present lessons form only the 22 books of the Peshitta, which is the version which appeal is made for settlement of doctrinal questions. So they do go back to them. And that's what I'm wondering. My great new sister in Christ, Naomi's daughter-in-law, got me a copy of the Peshitta, and it's something that I value so much I wound up bringing it everywhere, and I wound up setting it down. And I never checked if it had 2nd and 3rd John, or 2nd Peter. So I'm going to check that, and I'll get back to her. But for all you guys out there that helped me through the very horrid, rough time in my life, and we're kind of in the middle of it right now, but for all you guys that called me the other day, thank you very much, and you can't possibly imagine what that meant to me. Thanks for looking out.